I believe historically black colleges and universities are the crown jewels of the American college education system. Don't believe me? Let's find out. Now I'm about to do something I've never done before, but before I do that, to support what I do in this community, would you please click the like button and click the repost? That really helps get these videos out there and helps me. And if you don't follow me, I'd appreciate it if you did. Now, what am I talking about? Every single video I've ever done, I've done completely from memory. For the first time ever, I'm going to use a list because I really want to get these numbers right about the historically black colleges in America. Okay, are you ready? There's over 100 of them, 4 medical schools, which is crazy. The first one, I'm doing this still from memory, is in Cheney, Pennsylvania, the longest school, and that was founded in 1837, almost 200 years ago. Now, to be defined as an HBCU, they had to exist prior to the Civil Rights Act, and their main focus had to be the further education of black American students. Okay, so now we know the definitions. Let me just tell you a little bit about what's going on in the world that came out of these historically black colleges. 85% of black doctors came from there. And by the way, I'm going to skip the word black because it's going to get repetitive. 80% of federal judges, 75% of PhDs, 75% of military officers, 75% of veterinarians, 50% of pharmacists, 50% of attorneys, 45% of business executives, 40% dentists, 50% engineers. Historically black colleges only make up about 3% of the college population, but they have as students about 10% of black Americans, but yet still put out 20% of all black college graduates who are black Americans. Again, I'm pretty good at math, and even I know you only have 10% of the students, but you put out 20% of the graduates. That's a 2-to-1 ratio. That is freaking fantastic. These schools are amazing, and I think one of the reasons they're so good is because they're such lean, mean operations. Not because they want to be, because society has forced them to be. Yes, white America, our government has turned a blind eye and shunned these colleges. You don't believe me? Whether you like Donald Trump or not, he actually signed a bill that guarantees the historically black colleges $255 million a year. It's $250 million from now on, because these university administrators had to come hat in hand to DC every year to ask for funding. Now I'm going to piss you off even more. Harvard University has a $50 billion endowment. Do you know the total endowment of all historically black colleges and universities in America? A little over $5 billion. Let's do the math on that. That Harvard University has an equivalent endowment to 1,000 historically black colleges and universities. Do you see something wrong here, people? Just a little? Did you let that sink in? Do you see kind of how this is going wrong? Despite all these problems, historically black colleges have overcame all this. Their graduates being polled are some of the happiest college graduates in a college education system here in America. These schools have found a way to integrate education, preparing their students for the real world, not just underwater basket weaving degrees. And another really amazing thing about these schools is while white America, these big universities, Harvard, Yale, these Ivy League assholes, Michigan, while they allowed no black students forever, these historically black colleges that have existed since 1837 have been open to all races. Isn't that ironic? They're also some of the lowest cost tuitions in the country. Now, the thing about it is, Harvard and these schools have these big, huge, gleaming, multi-billion-dollar campuses. And some of these HBCUs are in really small places. Where I'm from, there are 4 of them. Shorter College, which is 400-something people. Philander Smith, 400-something people. I think Arkansas Baptist we have there. And then University of Arkansas Pine Bluff, which is about 2,500 enrollment, which has also put 29 players drafted in the NFL in the last 59 years. Out of a school of 2,500. They gave us Hall of Fame offensive left tackle Willie Rofe, and they gave us Torrey Hunter of the Minnesota Twins, who will soon be in the Major League Baseball Hall of Fame in the next few years. So I'm just saying, these schools have put out really famous people. We know Vice President Kamala Harris. We know W.E.B. Du Bois, Martin Luther King. I mean, so many successful black Americans came from this school. And it amazes me that our own country doesn't pay more attention to these schools, because they're producing graduates who've gone out into this country and just in 150 years went from zero to well over $1 trillion GDP in that community. And I'm going to keep saying that number over and over in case you've heard it before. That's freaking incredible. So while I can no way show respect and cover all the amazing history of these historically black colleges and universities in America, I'm going to start doing a series on the ones that I'm really fascinated with, because I've fallen in love with these universities. Morgan State, Wilberforce, Langston University, Tuskegee, I can go on and on. So I think I'm just going to do a series on each school that I come across, and Wilberforce is going to be my first. So I hope you found this educational. Please click the like button. Please repost this, as this helps this channel. And as always, have a great night.